Crafty Journaler, welcome to the Crafty Journaler. My name is Sarah and I am the Crafty Journaler, and in this channel we do a lot of junk journal crafting fun. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, turn on the notification bell, and like this video. Let a friend know that we're here as well. I am trying to grow my subscriber count, so if you are liking what you're seeing, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and let a friend know. I also have a TikTok account and a Instagram account. They're under the same alias as here, so the Crafty Journaler. On TikTok, it's been a little neglected. I haven't posted up there as much as possible. I actually went through a little slump and I kind of put it at the back burner. However, I am trying to revamp that, so I'll probably be starting to post up stuff on TikTok as well. However, I do want to make sure that YouTube is my main channel, so if there'll probably be more to come here than in any of the other social media sites. On Instagram, I also have only one picture up, which is my logo. However, I'll be creating new content for inspiration over there on Instagram. So if you are interested to help my channel grow or support any of my social media accounts, I'll go ahead and place my name of the social account somewhere around here. And for now, that'll be all. I'll go ahead and get started. I did have to re-record this part because there was a lot of life happening in the background, so there's gonna be a little jump from this to when I was actually making this. So go ahead and enjoy. Bye. Past Sarah's gonna pop up here somewhere. Today we're going to go ahead and start with part 3, which is the decorating process. So making the inside of your journal pretty or fun or interactive and stuff like that. And we're going to go ahead and start easy breezy on this one, which was our inspo, right? This is like the inspo to our actual journal. So on this one, I did put some pockets and envelopes in it, there we go, like so, to create like an extra little secret tuck for the next journal holder to have some sort of ephemera so that they could further decorate their journal. So with that being said, we're gonna be adding some of these pockets. Let me see. So there's different tucks, different ways that I integrate pockets into my journals. We're gonna start with just the envelope for now. So stuff like this and stuff like these. So we're going to integrate some of those. I'm also going to do a quick kind of twist on them because on these I just added kind of a cluster up front and, you know, made it a little more pleasant to see. So we kind of just added some washi, a little stamp, a little cluster. And when you open it up, it's still kind of blank. Some of them will have a stamp, some of them don't. But in the version that we're going to be doing, and I already altered some of them, so some of them are already altered, right? I altered some envelopes. I stenciled washi cluster with a sticker, which is kind of losing its grip, so I'll probably add some glue there. And then in the inside, I also kind of made this little cluster for it because when we connect it to the book, this part will be kind will be visible at some points. So I enjoy that. I also left a little room for journaling here and journaling here. It is up to you if that's something that you would want to do, or if you want to embellish it further, you could always embellish it further. I also made a little pocket, and all it is, it's the junk mail, just mail that you receive at home. I cut it up. You get these two, yes. So I cut this piece off to make this size, right? I covered the inside of this, covered some of the outside, and then with this one, I kind of wanted to leave this part visible, so I just added a little stamp, some lace, and a cute little stamp of a bird. And this is another pocket that we're going to be gluing down into our journal. And then we have this one, which again, I wanted to leave the integrity of the envelope, so how it came, I wanted to leave that. Like, this was trash, but now it's a treasure kind of thing. So this is what we came up with. Still true to its form, however we added just a little interest pieces. So I wanted to do a quick DIY with you guys with one of them, and we'll kind of just alter it together. So for the first part, I want to cover this little piece right here. So I want to create a little cluster that's going to go right here. If you see here, I kind of used just a paper and stamps and some washi. On this one, I'll probably do something similar, but I'll start with a washi underneath. So I'll be right back and let me get that washi. Okay, so I'm going to be using this washi for right here first. And what we'll do is we'll lift some of we'll find our slit, right? And then we're gonna lift it a little bit so it's easier for you to tug on, and you won't be like tearing it apart or anything. So you lift it up a little, and then you want to measure about the length. And because I do want one side to look a little teared and not so even, we're just gonna tear it off. And now we're gonna add some glue. We'll just use one of our strip scraps here. I think I want to add some depth, so I'll be sure to kind of add this here, and I still want a little strip, so we're gonna do right about so. Then we're just gonna add our glue to it. This is definitely something you could do en masse. I do have already pre-done a few of them. However, I was trying to get the actual palette that I'm working off, which is like naturals, natural colors or neutral colors, which you'll still see pieces of pop of colors, whether it's greens, some pinks, you'll see them in there. But for the most part, it'll be tans and browns, whites, some black. And because I like to contradict myself, I still have like the sense of wanting something specific to it, but I also feel like it'll come out how it comes out. I'm not too stressed over if it's gonna look exactly how I want it to look or not. but I hope that it does come out looking a little more, I guess, just I want it to be able to be like, well, somebody that's a little more masculine will like it, or somebody that's feminine will like it as well. You know, I don't want it to be like just specific to a gender of personality kind of thing. So we're gonna be adding something to give it a focal point right about here. So maybe like a little sticker, maybe a fussy cut, something like that. I think I'm gonna go for a sticker on this one. So let me grab my stickers. And we'll use this one from Recollections, and I got this at Michael's a while back. A lot of the stuff that I use, I actually have accumulated over the years. I do still buy stuff, but I try not to buy like too much, because sometimes it does tend to be one of those hobbies where you're gonna be buying stuff and you'll just keep accumulating it, and sometimes instead of using it you just kind of hoard it, and that's not always good, especially for people that don't like too much clutter. For example, I'm not fond of clutter, but I also don't mind it as much. But I do find myself that when there's too much of something in my craft space, I do get a little anxiety. I do get a little like frustrated. So I try to keep a minimal amount of things at a time. However, I do have a lot of stuff in my craft supplies, so I try to use it as much as possible as I go through my projects. So anyways, we're gonna be using a focal point, and it could be like a little verse or a little sentimental thought, or it could be a sticker of food or something. In this case, I think I'll be using a flower. And I want to say I'll probably use this one, but let's keep looking. Maybe I'll find something more neutral. Oh, or maybe I could use the hats. Okay. So I think something like this would probably be better for the palette scheme that I have in mind. There is also this here. Like the blue might be a little too vibrant for the color palettes. So with that being said, I think we're gonna go with one of these white ones right here. And I want to use, I think this would look really cute, just the stem going across. But I also feel like this would look pretty good. Let's go ahead and wing it, and we'll do the stem one for now. And then I usually use my X-Acto knife for a lot with stickers, which is why this part's so gunky. It's just easier to lift. I don't find it as easy to use the little pliers or stuff like that. And when I do use them, I try my best to keep it right about like the handle it, but I also struggle with it, so I usually just use my X-Acto knife and my fingers. So this is what we're ending up with so far, which is really cute, neutral looking. So now we're gonna add a stamp right here, an actual like a faux stamp, and then we'll add another rubber stamp on top of it. So we have these here. Let's just go through some of them till we find one that we like. Kind of like that one. Let's see if we find something else. So sorry, my dog went crazy. I had to go see what's up. They're just barkers, my dogs. So anyways, we're just making sure we have the right one there, which I kind of think we do. Yeah, we'll stick to this one. So we're gonna put that one there. Before we do that, I do want to kind of shadow the background of that. So I'll just grab my little blender here that I have, and with whatever is left on it, I'm not gonna add more ink or anything. I'm just gonna lightly shadow to kind of create that shadow right about there. And I'll probably do the same on the opposite side, just to create a balance on here. So we'll do that. And then just gonna add some glue. You could very well just use the sticker alone, but what I found is that every time that I do that, the stickers do lift, but whenever I add a little bit of glue, it's like perfect. It won't lift, it doesn't do anything to deteriorate as quick, like it lasts a little longer and stuff like that. And since most of my journals are either sold on Etsy or I give them away, I do have some that I make for myself too. I want them to last a good amount of time, so I always make sure to add a glue so that it's nice and stable and it continues to give a long life. So now that we have that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add an actual rubber stamp right about here, and then we'll keep moving. Let me bring my rubber stamps. Okay, so we have this, and it's the Distressed Holtz permanent mixed media ink palette, and there's Hickory Smoke, Vintage Photo, Ground Espresso, and Black Soot. So I'll be using this one, which I believe is Vintage Photo. I'm just gonna make sure that we get a good amount of ink there. We're gonna place this. Actually, let me move it off of that, and right there. And we're just gonna wait for it to dry up on here, because this part will take a little bit longer. And then while I do that, I try to pick up a little bit. I'll be right back after it dries, and we'll continue our envelope. Okay, so I think that's about dry. So we'll go ahead and, what do you think? Should we do it a little further? I actually think this is pretty good, because I'm still kind of wanting for there to be a lot of room for journaling or like memory keeping. to jot down quick little descriptions of what you've put into each envelope and stuff like that. So I think we're gonna leave it right here. So now we're just gonna add it into our journal. Okay, so we're gonna be looking for spots where you think, oh, this would look really good there. So for example, what do we think of this here? Maybe a little away. Kind of like this vibe. I kind of like when stuff is not necessarily even. Gives it a little like interest. So I kind of like that there. So we're gonna add this little one right there. So we'll use our handy dandy writing board. And then our silicone based glue, which is Fabri-fix. We'll be generous with the glue because we're going to be putting stuff inside this pocket, so we want it to stay nice and tack and adhere to our page. So we'll do that. And we place it on our page. Okay. Okay. So we'll have this little pocket right here. I think this one would look really good here. Okay. And because I want this side to kind of be of a tuck too, what I'm gonna do is let me see if I'm in frame. I'm barely in frame, so give me a second. Here. Okay. So I want this to be a little tuck right here. And we'll probably put something over this later. But for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure it's nice and lined up to the paper. And then I'm gonna grab my glue and I'm gonna put it at the edge of the paper, making sure to keep it nice and even. Nice and even. And then, uh-oh, lost the pen. I'm gonna need to replace that. And then we're just gonna smash it in there. Slide it back and forth till it feels like it's done secure. And there you go, you have one pocket on this side and then you'll have a tuck on this side. And we'll further decorate these parts as we continue to do stuff in the journal. So now we're gonna move on. And since we put a pocket here, we have an envelope here. We're gonna move all the way to our third signature. And let's find a spot for this one. And this one is pretty open on the back, like it's not decorated. And the reason I did that is because I want to glue this to a page. And I am torn between this page or right here. And technically you could also just glue the sides and leave the top open, and you'll have two pockets in one. So I actually think this looks better right here, so that's where we're gonna glue it down. And then remove some of this. If you don't mind getting your fingers like sticky or anything like that, you could just wipe it off a little bit with your hand. And if you do mind, I would recommend having like a little piece of baby wipe or something so that you could just wipe it off. And there we go. And the reason I put it in this page as well is because, one, I like the contrast of the color, and two, I think that there's a bunch of flowers and butterflies, and the color and texture of the background I feel kind of neutralizes that, so it creates a nice neutrality, I guess I'm gonna use that as a word. I don't know if that's a word, but that's what's coming in my head. So yeah, it kind of creates a neutral tone to it. It's not necessarily over frilly, over girly, and it's not necessarily masculine either. So again, where the vibe is neutrality. So we have that down there, and now we're gonna go to our fourth signature, and we're gonna be putting this one in. So I just want to make sure that this kind of tacked down. It still looks like it's not wanting to tack down, so I'm gonna use my silicone glue. This one, I want to put it right here. And again, it's the same reasoning. I feel like the color in the background is kind of gonna make it a little more neutral toned. And with this one, we're also gonna do the same thing, so. But since it's a little bendy because it's more layers of paper, I'm gonna use my handy dandy writing board for support. But for this one, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put some glue stick, and then I'm gonna also put the silicone, because this is washi and it's a little plasticky. Plasticky usually doesn't adhere as great, but I've noticed that the silicone base will actually adhere pretty well. And then sometimes when I double glues, it does a better job of adhering to one another. So do you have a favorite glue? If you do, let me know in the comments so that I could maybe try some different glues. I feel like I'm very biased to this specific one because I've been working with that one for such a long time now that I feel like I've closed myself to other possibilities. Okay. And there we go. So now we have another pocket right here, or another envelope, and we have one more. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go through it and then choose a spot. Kind of want to say that I wanted maybe on this one. Here in this one, there's also like pockets right here. So maybe not in this signature. I actually like this setup because when you push this over, it's gonna have this. It gives it a little more cluster feel. So we're gonna do it right there. We're gonna place it right there. And on this one, we're actually gonna glue it all down so it's nice and secure because this paper is a little thin. So you want to make sure that everything is nice and secure so it doesn't tear apart easy or anything like that. So for that reason, I'm gonna put this right here. And then we'll be sure to cover everything nicely with our silicone based glue. Okay. And now we make sure it's nice and secure to our paper. Okay, and so we've added our envelopes. We added one right here. Then we added this one. Okay. We also added this one. We added this one. This is probably my favorite. The way it looks, it's beautiful. This one. Okay. So now we're gonna work on the envelopes and the tuck spots of the front and the back, and then that'll be our video for this turn. I always use a block to help me out. For the front, I thought I would put a belly band. So I'm just gonna measure this out, and then I'm gonna cut it, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue here and glue here, and we're gonna leave this open so that we could tuck stuff in and out of it. I also want to add a little interest piece to this, so I'm actually gonna create a slide thingy. I don't know what to call it, but basically we're gonna use a piece of paper, probably this one, and we're gonna create a little I don't know what to call it, a little belt for our belly band. So like so, and we're gonna cut it off right here. And then I'm going to glue that down, so I'll probably do it off camera. Okay, so it'll be here. Then let me measure this out. So it'll be right. So now we're gonna glue it down. So it'll be our silicone based glue from Fabri-fix. Put a little glue here, a little glue there. And we'll try to keep it as straight as possible. Sometimes it's not necessarily easy, so you just want to maneuver it around as much as you can. Make sure that it's as straight as it can look for you. Don't worry too much about it. I think that's pretty straight right there, so I'm gonna call that a victory. now we're gonna put a little interest on there. So, okay, I think that'll be cool. With the little serrated cardboard. I think that's what you call it. It has little ridges. I got this from a coffee shop that I go to at times. And I keep it because this is fun to play with in your journals. Clusters and all of that. I added some glue and just tacked it on here. And now I'm going to cut this up with one of my fancy scissors. Fancy scissors. I don't know what to call these. The craft scissors, I guess. That right here. Place this right over it. Hold it in place for a little bit. And there you go. We have a movable interest piece. Isn't that fun? Okay, and then we're gonna move to the back. And we're gonna add a pocket. So I'm gonna make a pocket with this. This was a faux postcard for one of my paper pads that I had purchased. I think I purchased this one maybe in June. So it was pretty recent that I purchased this one. And we're just gonna place it right here, like that. But we're not gonna glue right here. We're only gonna glue in like a shape of an L. So right here and right here. That's it. And as you can probably see, or I don't know if you see on your screens, but I'm trying to be pretty generous with this because it's gonna be a pocket that will probably get a lot of love, you know. It'll probably get a lot of placement of papers and mementos, and you want it to be long lasting. So the more glue, and the more it's probably gonna stay there for years and years to come. So once you have it nice and placed, you could either add this here and create another pocket, or I actually think that I'll probably add this into our journal. And perfect. We'll add it right here. And now we have an extra tuck spot, so perfect. And now that we're here, and I already had prepped these up for this video, these are just little tabs that I make with scraps, and I just sew them together. And I made these specific ones for our journal. So let's go ahead and place these in here in some of the papers, and then we'll be done. So one of them was for this one. Okay. Okay. I think that'll look good, right? So let's put that one there. That could go right there. Just adding a little glue here so it tacks down. The sew machine didn't get through there. The glue will help it kind of stabilize. Only thing is that now it's a little smudged, but we'll cover that in another video. So. All these little faux pas that you might do, don't worry too much about those, because there's always a way to either enhance them and make them look cool or intentional. Or you could also cover them up with other pieces of ephemera or whatnot. So that is, we're gonna leave the video here. So today what we did is we added some tucks and pockets and a little bit of paper tabs. Come back for the next episode. We're gonna be adding some lace, I believe, into our journal. So you can probably see right here, there's a lot of fabric and lace in our paper. I really enjoy doing that because it's a fun little like tactile thing. You could touch it and it's stress relieving to me. So come back for that on our next episode, which is going to be our 4th episode of Let's Make a Journal Together. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found inspiration in this video. And if you did, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Like this video and turn on your notification bells. And before you go, there's gonna be another video somewhere around here. Go ahead and check a different video out. What that does, it lets the algorithm know that you're enjoying this type of content, and it'll push it out to other people. With that being said, it's a wrap. Bye!